It's very rare that you can say this after week 2 of the National Football League season, but the Buffalo Bills ended the New York Jets season yesterday, a 30-10 shellacking. Korolnek, Hein, Stevie Johnson in studio.
In the flesh.
Great to see you, my man. Coming all the way in from California just to see you and I, Chris. Who knew?
Well, or the falls.
Yeah,
or the quick drive over from the falls.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. That's what I always say. But the Bills yesterday, a great story. Virtually flawless performance against the Jets. And I will concede, fellas, I was a little bit worried about this game coming in. Jets looked really good offensively the week before. The Buffalo Bills defensively did not look good the week before. But all those concerns absolutely gone.
Yeah, like honestly, I wasn't worried, but like the 6.5 point spread dropping to like 6 before kickoff, you had a lot of people taking. I saw Will Compton being like, "I like the Jets." Rex Ryan going on a rant,
shocker,
saying, "I want the Jets." And like, I was just because Josh has struggled against them in the past, but this team is. They meant business, and they went into that game with a business-like attitude and just absolutely beat the Jets down.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the Buffalo Bills, they took a page out of Matt Milano's book for the Bills Mafia, and that was this. Just be quiet and just believe in us. Just watch us work. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's exactly what they did. They went out there and they dominated.
And I saw McDermott's presser after the game, too. He kind of echoed the same message. We said, great win. We play these guys again. Let's be quiet. We don't need to say anything. And that's this is the attitude I think of this team moving forward.
And I don't know what the biggest takeaway to have from yesterday. Certainly James Cook, his performance on the ground, he was unbelievable. I mean, that 1-yard touchdown he scored, the 44-yard touchdown he scored, both were incredible runs. And I mean, you got to think about the defense too. And say what you will about the Jets offense. Justin Fields, ooh, man, yeah. I'm not sure you could look much worse than he did.
Mitch Trubisky, more passing yards than Justin Fields.
But I mean, for Stevie, to see the Bills defense respond the way that they did after what was a terrible performance against Baltimore, let's just call it what it was, they looked unbelievable against the Jets.
Yeah, I can't even call it a terrible performance. Yeah, the numbers was bad, but again, guys, that was a great offense. That was 2 Hall of Famers we was going up against, and we didn't see our guys get sad or get down or lose any or be discouraged at all. So I feel like the teams, they stayed with that grit and they just showed that they are a really good defense and they'll evolve and get better throughout the season, I believe.
Well, and that's without Ed Oliver, who's arguably one of your most important players on that defense. And that's a team that ran for that's a great running team. And the Bills shut that down without your best run stopper. And you're still missing Max Hairston. So and the suspended guys on your D-line. So I'm really impressed with this defense, and I think a lot of the cause for panic was maybe just like, hey, Baltimore's really good, and Baltimore is maybe the best or second best offense in football, and they're going to do that to everybody. So maybe this Bills defense isn't as bad as everybody initially thought.
You know who I loved watching yesterday was Joey Bosa. That sack he had, and the reaction that he had, just marching up and down the sidelines, hugging his teammates. You could just see how important it is for that guy to get off to a good start. I thought he had some really nice moments against Baltimore as well, but he was a force, and he looked really impactful, Stevie. And if that's the Joey Bosa the Buffalo Bills are getting, look out.
Hey, look, I take my hat off to Joey Bosa, man. What he did, what he's been showing these past 2 weeks, has got him in the talks to be AP Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna put it out there. Let's start talking about Joey Bosa as AP Defensive Player of the Year. If he can continue this, I mean, he's looked rejuvenated.
Yeah.
And it's not just him, and it's not just his want to be better. It's really that aura, the community is watching Josh, is watching James Cook, is watching how this offensive line is moving like a unit, and he sees that and he wants more and more of that success. So I mean, it's just a credit to Bills and the organization and the Bills Mafia for supporting.
It was a signing that wasn't really talked about. 1 year, like $12.4 million, and it was kind of like, if this guy can stay healthy, this could be what we thought we were getting from Von Miller.
Exactly.
And the numbers yesterday. So only 26 snaps, 6 pressures, 1 sack, 2 QB hits, 2 forced fumbles.
Who needs Micah Parsons anyway?
26 snaps. So coming into the year, it was like, okay, are you going to be a situational pass rusher? How much are we going to see? Is it only going to be like third downs? The way he's playing, if they can keep him fresh and at this level, this is a weapon I don't think anybody expected this defense to have.
It kind of reminds me with Von Miller's first year with the Bills, the first couple months. He was incredible.
The first 8 weeks, he was awesome.
And then it kind of just fell apart for him. Exactly. Exactly. Literally and figuratively.
That bad turf in Detroit.
And then you never really saw him regain that form. But if that's the type of Joey Bosa the Bills are getting, but I just think as a whole, for McDermott and the entire defense, Bobby Babbage, the way that they were able to bounce back. And I know, Stevie, you're right. Obviously, Lamar and Derrick Henry, they just feasted on Buffalo. What was Derrick Henry? Almost 10 yards a carry. And then Breece Hall, less than 3 yards a carry. An unbelievable bounce back.
Though, those guys are going to feast on everybody. And I think the nature...
Not yesterday, though. Not yesterday. The Browns.
The nature of which the game... The way the NFL game is played now, even if you're an unreal defense, a good offense can still come in and put 30-plus up on you and rack up yards just because that's just the way the game is. I think the Bills their defense is much better than a lot of us thought. And I think, and myself included, I overreacted to week 1.
Yeah, and I think that's common around the NFL. There are a lot of teams that kind of regress to the mean in a positive way, what we expected more so than what we saw from them in week 1. But I want to talk about the Bills offense, which beyond James Cook wasn't anything crazy. I mean, Josh Allen didn't have some exceptional performance because he didn't need to have an exceptional performance. But that's now 24 straight games for the Buffalo Bills not losing the turnover battle, which is a staggering stat. It's an NFL record, and that's how you win in today's NFL. If you keep the turnovers to a very small, limited amount, and for the Buffalo Bills, the way that their offense can handle business, Stevie, I mean, it's a huge thing for this team to continue to progress in that respect.
You called it, AK. That's a great stat. And that was the difference between a win and a loss in week 1, was that turnover. Big play by Ed Oliver, but it can come from anybody. But that's great to say that, those the turnover battle, the team that win the turnover battle wins the game 70% of the time, So I feel like something may happen later on or within this division. Maybe it's against the Dolphins where they might win the turnover battle, but they'll still end up losing because they're learning how to win, as opposed to the Buffalo Bills that know how to win a game.
Well, and we'll get into that with the Chiefs a little later in the show too, with the close games, the one-score games, and winning even while losing a turnover battle. But let's the big thing with the Bills and you say the turnover battle, I look at sacks as well. And then they showed us that on the broadcast yesterday. I think Josh Allen was sacked 14 times last year, which was by far the lowest in the league. Seeing him get sacked once yesterday was a rarity.
Jarring.
And that goes with that turnover. Those sacks are huge negative plays that kill drives. And shout out to the offensive line. And specifically, we said it before, let James cook. When James Cook is on like that, do we need to start talking about this guy as a top 5 running back in the NFL? Because just look at that run. He's I don't know, 5 jet defenders have hands on him. He makes that one juke, scampers out. I saw a great stat. That was his 5th career touchdown run over 40 yards. Leads the NFL since 2022, since he's been in the league. The guy is just an absolute beast. Yeah, top 5, and he ain't 5 or 4.
Yeah, so he's dangerous, and he's only going to get better out the backfield, even catching the ball. I remember watching him when he was at Georgia, going up against our Kentucky Wildcats, and I was like, this dude is dynamic. He's lightning. And then when I seen him at the NFL draft, we was calling him, and there was so many trades going on. And I'm like, I hope we don't trade this kid. And look at what he's doing, man. He's a star.
I feel like I need to issue a public apology to James Cook and his entire family after what I said during the contract stalemate in the preseason. Ray Davis, he could step in and replicate much of what James Cook can produce. It's just not true.
But a lot of the fan base had the same sort of thing.
Exactly. And I think James Cook, and I know there was some really fortunate luck when it came to touchdowns last year. It's 16 touchdowns, at 2 the year prior. The guy's racking up the tutties early in this NFL season, and I see no reason why that'll stop, because whether or not he's top 5, I think he's certainly in the conversation. He's definitely better than the other 2 guys the Buffalo Bills have. No disrespect to Ray Davis or to Ty Johnson. But James Cook is another level.
Yeah, if he goes down, those 2 guys can easily step in.
Agreed.
To add to your touchdown thing, 24 touchdowns in his last 21 games, including playoffs. A lot of people I know in fantasy, it was like he's due for touchdown regression. He's just awesome around the goal line. You saw it on that 1-yard run.
What a play.
And think back to the playoff game. That crazy touchdown he had extending, he is really, for a smaller dude, he is really great inside the 5. And when you have both him and Josh as weapons from in tight, you have to pick one, and you can't. It's too hard to defend. But Cook running the ball like that opens it up for everybody. And I think we saw it yesterday. And if you're trying to bet Bills receivers week to week, just don't do it. Don't do it because
you have no idea.
You have no
Everybody
idea.
eats, right?
Yep.
I think, what was it? 10 guys had catches yesterday?
I know. Yep. I know. It was a perfect recipe yesterday, and the game was done in the second half, early part.
The game was done in the second quarter.
No, you're right. I mean, and I think it's great for the Buffalo Bills, who have a short week coming up against Miami.
Yeah.
It was some load management there. There wasn't a lot of physical and mental exertion, and as such, I think the Bills would be that much more prepared for a Dolphins team that they should stomp anyways, but even more so knowing that.
Well, let's look ahead to this. Is Thursday Mike McDaniel's last game as Dolphins head coach? Because this spread opened at 12.5. I bet it last night when I saw 12.5. FanDuel, we love you. I think you guys are going to move this thing. And
the odds makers?
Yeah, hey, to the traders who I think I have a call with them tomorrow, get that thing up to over 2 touchdowns because I think this is going to be a beatdown, and I think this is going to be Mike McDaniel's last game as Dolphins head coach Thursday night.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a beatdown, especially with Josh not scoring a point. That was pretty interesting now seeing Josh score.
Didn't throw one or
run a touchdown. So I feel like he's going to come back home and he's going to explode on the Dolphins.
Yeah, I can't wait for this game. I really like watching the Dolphins because of just how dysfunctional they are, and you never know what Tyreek Hill is going to do. And I love watching Achane play. The guy's a stud out of the backfield. Jalen Waddle's a lot of fun. And Tua, I mean, you look at his stat line yesterday. And you're like, okay, that's pretty good. But he had just a horrible interception.
His fourth quarter was atrocious.
It was so bad. And you're watching, you're like, what are you doing? Like, you've so many good plays, and then you throw a complete muffin right in the middle of the field for an easy pick for the New England defenders. So again, you never really know what you're going to get from Tua, but we know what the Bills do against the Dolphins, and I'm with you. I think that will apply again.
Allen's career, like I feel like every other time Josh plays the Dolphins, he wins player of the week.
Exactly.
And like he puts up these monster numbers, like we can bring some of them up now. Like it's just absolutely, these are video game numbers against them, but we might be burying the lead. And that is, they have, who's leading the Bills out? Who's doing the intro before the game on Thursday?
Yours truly.
Oh my God. Well, that needs to be 21 point spread. Maybe 30.
Exactly. Look, it was funny. I want to piggyback because that'll bring us right into our new segment. Story time.
Here we go.
Okay.
Look what a pro.
Guys, with us.
He's T-Mac in the All-Star game, throwing himself the self-alley-oop. I love it.
No, because AK sparked my mind when he said he loves to watch the Dolphins because you just don't know what's going to happen at the stadium or with that team. So we was in Miami, and I'm looking around at the stadium. I'm like, the stadium pretty nice. You know, they talk about Serena Williams being called. They doing some new partnership with them. And then I seen a swimming pool up there. Then they had a club going on. I'm like, yo, they doing everything in this stadium except winning. You know, and then so they play a song called Teach Me How to Dougie.
Yeah.
You know, the Dougie.
Sure.
And then my guy, Corey McIntyre, he hit me, hey, Stevie, you know, from California.
Yeah.
You playing your song up there. I'm like, hey, we throw the ball, I'm scoring on this. And threw the ball, scored, and ended up doing the Dougie.
You did the very nice.
And it just sparked me because, man, they was doing everything in that stadium for attractions except for winning the game. You know, so that was pretty funny.
People talk about the ineptitude of the New York Jets, which we just saw live and direct in this most recent game in MetLife against the Bills. But the Dolphins might be, if you're a fan of a team, the worst team to be a fan of. They haven't won a playoff game since 2000. Yeah. And it was starting at quarterback 2000 last time.
Guess.
The Dolphins won a game.
Chad Pennington?
No.
Hold on. Give me a clue.
The receiver that
Jay Fiedler.
Oh, no way.
That's how long ago we're talking about a Dolphins playoff win. It's been a long time, and I'm feeling pretty confident when I say they ain't getting one this year.
I got a question for Stevie then. And just looking at the division, who did you hate the most? Like between the Pats, the Jets, and the Finns? Because from a fan base, I think I hate the Dolphins the most because like when I first started going to games, that was like Marino and Kelly, and like Brian Cox was like the biggest enemy in Bills history. But then during your era, like I hated the Pats, but it was a hammer and a nail. You know what I mean? Like we just could never beat the Pats and Brady. So from your era, who did you hate the most out of those three teams?
So just to clear, no hate. I didn't have no hate in it.
Hey, but it's all love.
For locker room talk. The Patriots.
Yeah.
I felt like the Patriots was better because their crowd was so involved also. You know, you walk out there on the edge of the walls and they screaming at you. I enjoy that. You know, that's football. That's the energy that you need. When we was in Miami, again, it was a lot of other things going on.
It sounds like fun if there's
yeah, you know, if you a fan for the stadium, but not on the field, it was regular, you know, competition.
Think about if you're a Dolphins fan, you had to endure 2 decades of Brady, and now you have to endure 2 decades of Josh Allen. Oh, good luck to you. Good luck to you.
It's always a cycle.
I feel it is, and a bad cycle of misery for Dolphins fans historically, certainly over the last 20 years.
Yeah, Dolphins just need to clean house and reset. You know, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, at least you know you're making an effort. The community will still back you if you're getting rid of quarterbacks, receivers, coaches, staff, all that, because you need that adjustment.
Well, they had the plane going yesterday with the fire Greer, fire McDaniel.
I think as soon as you see the planes flying, fire this guy, fire that guy, it's pretty close to the end of the road. But let's assume the Dolphins do get smashed by the Bills and maybe they move on from McDaniel. I think it's pretty clear they're going to have to start looking at trading some guys away, most notably Tyreek Hill, who, congratulations to him, had his first 30-plus yard reception since week 1 of last year, which is a crazy stat because he's one of the fastest players in the NFL. The Chiefs, offensively, I know they're missing Rashee Rice, I know they're missing Xavier Worthy, but wouldn't that be a story if Tyreek Hill returned there and maybe provided a boost to a team that through 2 weeks probably could use one? What do you think of that fit, Stevie?
Hey, I don't see it happening. Just the way he departed, that's like telling Stephon Diggs to come back to the Bills.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it did happen, it definitely puts Kansas City back in that team to worry about, considering they're 0-2 right
Okay, well, here's a stat. 12.2% of teams to start 0-2 go on to make the playoffs. So that's where the Chiefs are now. They're in that 0-2 hole, so numbers are against them. Since the playoff expansion in 2020, the number that actually gets worse, but I'm going to cite a small sample size there, but 2 of 42 teams to start 0-2 went on to make the playoffs.
2 of 42?
4.7%. Wow. So they are in a very big hole here, but to me, it's just the offense looks very broken. And like you saw it in the fourth quarter where Mahomes really tried to throw it deep a lot more. Where's that in the first 3 quarters? Because when you try to win with 12, 13, 14 play drives, inevitably you're going to make a mistake. And yesterday was at the worst possible time. It was on the goal line. That Kelsey bobble, that was the play that completely swung it, because you get in there, you're up in the fourth quarter, and who knows where that game goes. So, like, Stevie, when you watch the Chiefs offense, what looks broken? Why? Like, is it just the lack of players on the outside that they can't throw it deep, or is there something else?
Yeah, I think it's that part, the lack of IQ on the outside to make the easy plays or to set up the easy route for your quarterback. So Mahomes is trying to make things happen and direct his attention only on Kelsey. He's opening up this offense and trying to get better, as you see. The thing about the Chiefs, they're always going to be in the game, though. So that's what we have to do.
Yeah, and if I could play Chiefs defender for a moment, which I usually do on this show, they have the Giants coming up. That's got to be a win. I mean, if it's not, obviously their season is over, because then they go to Baltimore the next week. So that's not going to be an easy task. But for Mahomes, just looking, I'm sure he's looking out there. He's standing under center. He's like, okay, Kelsey's old and washed up. Hollywood Brown's, he's fine, but he's probably a number 3.
And even he left the game a little bit.
And so you're throwing a Juju Smith-Schuster, who I like. I've met before, great guy. Tyquan Thornton,
Thornton he's your only big play.
I know, but I mean, you can't tell me that Mahomes, as great as he is, and I understand that he's played with some inferior talent before and had a lot of success. That's a lot of quality players off the field that he's got to find a way to get past the Super Bowl champions with.
What happened last year when Josh Allen was playing with, everyone said, oh, Josh Allen has no weapons. What did he do? He just went and won MVP with this inferior talent, and I put that in quotes because
I would say the talent is much superior on Buffalo last year than this year's Kansas City Chiefs team.
But if you're a great quarterback, you need to make those receivers better. So, like, Stevie, you're probably perfect to answer this. Is it on Mahomes or is it on the receivers? Like, should Mahomes be making these guys better?
Well, he's in the process of doing that. That's why it looks like it's broken, because those guys still have to do their part, you know? So I just feel like it's flipped. It's flipped right now. You're right. You know, they saying that the Bills didn't have this talent last year. We saw what they had, but the world was like, nah, it's only Josh Allen. But he worked his guys to get into the position that they're in now. You know, where Keon's comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the tight end position is obviously younger, and they have 2 of those guys as opposed to Mahomes rocking with only 1.
So I'll ask both of you guys then. Let's start with you, AK. You're the Chiefs defender of the show. Are the Chiefs a playoff team?
Yeah, the Chiefs will sneak into the playoffs, and they're going to be an absolute nightmare.
Is it insulting that we're even asking the question?
I don't think it's insulting. I think it's reasonable because of those stats you cited. The 2 of 42 teams who started 0-2 since the expansion. That's a damning stat for the Chiefs. I'll just take the preponderance of the evidence with Kansas City over the last 8 years or whatever since Mahomes came into the league and Andy Reid. I mean, I think they'll find a way to get in, and that's the worst nightmare for a 2-3 seed in the AFC. Oh, great, the Chiefs are coming to town. And again, Rashee Rice is going to come back, and Xavier Worthy might play as early as this week. That's a completely different football team than the one we're seeing now.
Okay, Stevie, what do you think? Are the Chiefs a playoff team?
Yeah, I believe they still are. Can't count them out. I just feel like they need to pick up that running game.
Yeah, the running game. Oh, God. Pacheco and Kareem Hunt did not look very good yesterday.
I'm going to be bold here. Let's look at the schedule because listen to who they got coming up here. At the Giants, then they go Ravens, at Jags, versus Lions, versus Raiders, who they struggle against, versus Commanders, at Bills.
It's a tough slate.
That's a very tough stretch.
Again, like they got to figure it out. They need Worthy back, number one. And it sounds like they're going to get him back. But, I mean, you know, it's some good fortune for Kansas City as far as their pursuit of a playoff spot could be what happened with the Cincinnati Bengals, right?
Well, let me just I will be very bold and look into the camera right now. You will see this in a Kansas City Chiefs social media video at the end of the year after they've won the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are not making the playoffs. That schedule is too tough. You're in too big of a hole. They got no weapons outside. If Rashee Rice is here, maybe a different story. But the Chargers are winning that division. The Raiders might get into the playoffs. I'm going to say I'm not saying anything about the Chiefs' greatness, about Mahomes' greatness, about Andy Reid's greatness. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes might be the best quarterback I've ever seen, but this year they are not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing before Kansas City, they have to see with this whole Burrow thing, and he's going to miss a minimum of 3 months, and they're like, thank God, because that's a team that very well could have made the playoffs. Again, since he is 2-0, you know what? Here's a question for you.
Let me give you just the 2-0 stat, just so you know. 64% of teams to start 2-0 go on to make the playoffs.
That's it.
Yeah.
Since 2020?
Since 1990.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Well, and with another playoff spot, I'm sure it's even way higher than that. Better chance to make the playoffs, the Chiefs or the Bengals?
I think both teams don't get in, but I would say it's the Chiefs because you're gonna miss Burrow I know you're 2-0 right now, but you're gonna miss Burrow for 3 months. And I know they're looking. I like Browning; he's fine. The reports were this morning that they're looking for another quarterback.
Don't even bring up his name.
What?
You like that? You like that? No, I don't want to see Kirk Cousins anywhere near Cincinnati. Browning's good. I know didn't fare well. Didn't fare well yesterday. A lot of turnovers, but he's been in that system for a while. I think they should be confident with him.
That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign that they're looking for a quarterback right now.
To me, it's going to come down to schedule again, and I'll bring up this Bengals schedule right here because you want to talk about a tough schedule. This gets much tougher. They go at the Vikings, at the Broncos, versus the Lions, at the Packers. That could be 4 losses right there for Cincinnati with a backup quarterback.
Yeah. That's why Chiefs the better bet in the AFC than the Bengals, in spite of one having an 0-2 record and the other having a 2-0 record. And that's not something you say very often.
What do you think, Stevie? The Bengals getting in? Like 2-0, but no Burrow for 3 months.
I don't see it happening. You know, and you got me thinking about that Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe it's a shift for some new teams to get in. Maybe it's the Chargers' time to take that division. And you said the Raiders. I don't know.
I do like this Raiders team, man.
Yeah, they are looking pretty good. I'm interested in seeing how it plays out.
And honestly, Chiefs fans, don't be insulted. Like Tom Brady missed the playoffs for like a year in his career. Like that happened. I believe it was the year he tore his ACL and didn't play any games. Yeah. But
Matt Castle coming in, and they won 11 games that year.
They did win 11 games. The Jets got in.
Yeah.
So yes, obviously I'm being a little facetious here, but you can be a great player, you can be a great coach, and still miss the playoffs. And I just think you're up against it. Your schedule is tough. It's not going to get any easier. That's why I think the Chiefs are in trouble.
You believe in the Colts to make the playoffs through 2 weeks? I mean, they stole one yesterday.
They haven't. They're the first team, I think, through 2 weeks to not punt.
Yep.
Which is an absolutely bonkers stat when you have Daniel Jones at quarterback. The way they won that game yesterday was wild, but Tennessee's a lot worse than I thought. Jacksonville, I have no idea what to think. We're going to see Houston tonight, and I still think Houston wins that division, but it wouldn't shock me if the Colts got in. The AFC is frisky in the middle. They're very frisky in the middle. I think it's Buffalo, it's Baltimore, and then you've kind of got everybody else.
Man, it makes me think, do the Kansas City Chiefs really bite the bullet and bring back Tyreek Hill?
Well, that could change everything.
Be expensive.
So they're up against it cap-wise, but we've talked about this last year. You played in the league. Do you know how the salary cap work? No one knows. You restructure. You throw some bonus money.
Taylor Swift will throw some cash. Should be fine for the Chiefs.
Well, they could always just your guy Kawhi Leonard. You could always go the aspiration route. Get Tyreek Hill to plant some trees. Give him a no-show job like he's on The Sopranos, and then there you go. Tyreek Hill's a Chief. Hey, if I said they're not going to make the playoffs, if they get Tyreek Hill, different story. I take back my statement. They are a playoff team with Tyreek Hill for sure.
Yeah, I think that is safe to say. But getting Tyreek, and Miami's not just going to hand him over, even though he's a diminished product.
No, but dude, the way, I don't know why, but the way this tends to go, a guy like Tyreek Hill, if you start to cause trouble, that guy could go for a 3rd or 4th round pick.
Could.
What did Devontae Adams go for last year?
Yeah.
It wasn't a ton, and that was, I don't know, man, because of the salary, because if you're the Dolphins, you just want to like clean house, it might only take a 3rd or 4th round pick. It's just the cap gymnastics and how they work that out.
That's exactly it. And there'll be some long-term ramifications as well to bringing in Tyreek with a contract beyond this year. And then you have Rashee Rice and Worthy on much more manageable contracts.
Yeah.
Is Tyreek Hill your 3rd receiver there?
Well, dude, if they have all of those guys going, that's one. They go from one of the worst receiving corps in football to one of the best.
Yeah.
Worthy's got a dislocated shoulder, right?
But they were talking about potentially being able for him to play last week. Like,
well, you can still play with it though. I mean, I dislocated my shoulder the first week with the Chargers, diving in the end zone, dislocated. Oof. Played the entire season. It's a son of a bitch.
Is it just pain management?
Pain management in the shoulder slips out whenever, so you got to kind of have it wrapped.
Those football guys are tough. Not like you and I, buddy. That's why we're in broadcasting.
And you can still play, but it is on your mind, and I feel like they will need to go out and grab somebody.
I don't know. When I watched that Chiefs offense, first 3 quarters versus 4th quarter, completely different. And it's like, yeah, you're down, you kind of have to air it out, but like, what happened to the Chiefs of Eric Bieniemy? You know what I mean? The team that would score a ton of points and actually like light you up. We're going on now. This is almost 3 years of a mediocre offense, and like I'm not really sure what's changed.
Well, it was 17 straight games that in 1-score games the Chiefs had won heading into the season, and they're 0-2 in 1-score games. So maybe some of the good luck is fading away.
But is that just regression? Like.
Yeah, I think, well, it's a lot of things is what I would say with the Chiefs. But again, I think that the telltale sign on Kansas City's season and what we can expect is this game coming up against the Giants. If they go out and smoke the Giants.
Oh, but that means nothing if they
Well, no, I
think
it does. I mean, I think it would say a lot about the team if the game was close or the Giants were to win, it'd be curtains.
One interesting factor with that game, the Giants have an unbelievable defensive line and the Chiefs have a pretty shaky offensive line. But let me ask you both a question. Stevie, start with you. When you watch Mahomes, does he look different than he did at like peak Mahomes 2 years ago?
He looks motivated to me. It looked like he's motivated. He's trying to get things going. I quietly think that that last game sparked his offense, and it even sparked him to let it fly a little bit more and to talk to his receivers a little bit more. So it might be a turnaround because you go up against a Giants team who they're going to compete. They got a veteran quarterback also that's got pride. But I feel like if the Kansas City Chiefs take this game, they're back in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. And then they have to go to Baltimore, which is not going to be an easy task.
I think Baltimore just whoops them. Baltimore to be the second best team in football.
Yeah.
But
I would like to see that.
Let's look ahead to tonight because we got 2 games. We're spoiled. We got 2 Monday, and both of these games are good. So what do you guys want to start with? Let's Texans Bucks, or let's do Texans Bucks.
For sure.
Let's go chronologically. I don't really know. I'm excited for this because you have a great Bucks offense against an unbelievable Texans defense. Houston's offense was a little shaky week 1. What do you think? What's your...
Well, I mean, like, they're dealing with a lot of different things offensively, right? With Joe Mixon being out, and they're running out Nick Chubb, and there's some question marks beyond Nico Collins offensively for the Houston Texans. But I love
Christian
their
Kirk
defense.
also. Christian Kirk
won't play, so they're running like guys like Higgins and Hutchinson, Jalen Noel, a kid they drafted this most recent year, plays wide receiver. So there's a lot of, I would say, a lack of chemistry with CJ Stroud and some of his targets. But then you look on the other side, there's a lot of talent offensively there for Tampa. So I know they're calling for a low total. It was in the low 40s, but I wonder if this game could get a little shootout-ish if Tampa can get rolling against Houston's defense.
Yeah, I don't know too much about these teams. I know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Man, Baker Mayfield been on all the Popeyes commercials. I'm going with the Bucks. I'm gonna be pissed if he lose, man, because I mean, I'm seeing you all day eating this chicken. You better go out there and get that chicken against the Houston Texans. I know that much.
I think if Tampa can have a really strong offensive showing against a defense like Houston's tonight, then it might put. I'll look at the Bucks a little differently. I'll put them in that higher tier in the NFC, where right now it's just like it's Philly and kind of Philly, Green Bay, and everybody else. If Tampa can win tonight, then that might put them. That's a big win for them.
I almost feel like both the AFC and the NFC are similar in that respect, where it's Baltimore, Buffalo, and then it's Philly and Green Bay.
Yeah.
And then there's a steep drop off to the next tier.
I'm ready to put the Lions back in that group.
Okay.
And I think we asked this question last week. Are we worried about the Lions? And we were all a little concerned. And same thing. Everybody reacted a little bit to week 1 and the coordinators, but maybe they just went up against a really great team in Green Bay. And Or maybe the Bears are just not.
Well,
a very
I mean,
good
it's
team.
funny because I said, "Oh, we'll see what the Chiefs look like against the Giants." You're like, the Giants, who cares? Irrelevant. And now you're telling me that the Lions are all of a sudden this team that we should be fearing is one of the best in the NFL after beating up on the Bears.
But if the Chiefs it's the way in which they beat up on the Bears.
No, I get it.
When you're dropping like a 50 piece and like
tough.
Goff's throwing for 350, Amon-Ra's alive again. Like they didn't even get anything great from either running back.
Nothing.
But,
no, for sure. Again, the Bears are a complete embarrassment.
Are you saying the Bears are who we thought they were?
Well, I mean, it's stunning that think about what that game meant for their coach, and that's the type of effort going into Ben Johnson, his old stomping grounds. Like I'm sure, like the speeches, guys, we got to do this for Ben.
Yeah.
God, this is our coach. This is our guy. And you go out and get destroyed by your division rival, 52 points. Pathetic performance from Chicago. I was so disappointed to see what they were able to do, or I guess what they weren't able to do, which was literally nothing. There was nothing going on for the Bears. I thought they should be ashamed of themselves, frankly, the way that they played. And I do think for Detroit, I mean, they deserve a lot of credit in that there were a lot of people wondering, all right, was this offense all about Ben Johnson? Was he the guy who made it go? And people were saying, Goff, nothing without Ben Johnson. This John Morton guy who replaced Ben Johnson, he's completely out of his depth. They deserve a lot of credit for that type of performance. What that means for them going forward, I'm still a little skeptical because I don't think Detroit's close to the team they were last year.
So I am still a believer in Detroit. I think I'm going to just lean into Green Bay. And that one stat that we gave of last week about it was Gibbs getting hit, both Detroit running backs getting hit, point of contact behind the line of scrimmage, something like 70% of the time. Detroit needs to be able to kind of run the ball to kind of get that offense going. Yeah. I'm still a believer in Detroit, and I just think Green Bay is maybe just that good.
Exactly. I think you're spot on, and I think really the takeaway from the Lions and Bears game is that Green Bay is incredible. In that Green Bay stifled Detroit offensively. They could do nothing against the Packers. Then they go out the next week and put up 52 points. So I think maybe of all the teams that we could speak about, the Green Bay Packers may be the biggest winner of yesterday in that, okay, look what they just did to Detroit defensively.
Well, and they look good Thursday too as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, that's a powerhouse right there.
Stevie, week one, we asked you, and you said you liked Philly in the NFC. Philly goes and beats KC. You see what Green Bay does to Washington. Who do you like in the NFC? You still with Philly?
I'm still going to go with Philly because of how dominant the running game is. I need to see somebody stop Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Until I see that, then I'll go against the Eagles.
Always helps too when you can get away with a false start on those tush pushes every once in a while.
Again, the fact that they didn't get rid of the tush push was one of the biggest mistakes in recent history of the National Football League. The worst play in sports to watch is the tush push. I'm here for entertainment, and the Philadelphia Eagles, what they provide offensively, is the exact opposite of that.
It's just so predictable. That's what annoys me with it, is that you know every single time what's going to happen. That's why I can't stand it. But and Stevie, you might be able to speak to this as a competitor. Isn't it just well, go stop it then? Sorry, you're gonna change the rules that because we're so dominant?
Yeah, that's not fair. You can't do that. You gotta try to stop it. You can't talk about changing the rules. It's time to put some respect on Hurts' name, man.
Come on, man. They changed the rules in the NBA in the 30s with George Mike, and he was too dominant. And they got to change the rules with this tush push in 2025.
He's a talent that's going to figure it out anyway. He'll still figure out a way, and I feel like if they go with, what if they lose one game? Does Jalen Hurts get the MVP or does Josh Allen get the MVP because of the way he makes his plays? It looks great.
Well, to me, and we talked about this in the preseason episode with Hurts, and Josh Allen had a very Jalen Hurts-like performance yesterday where it's I did everything I needed to do to win because that is what is needed of me and my team.
Just hand the ball off.
But Jalen Hurts when Jalen Hurts needed to make plays on Sunday, he made plays. And yeah, I hate the tush push. I don't know if they should ban it or not, but that's still the dude who can squat what he squats and is able to get that leverage.
I feel like Hurts is a top 5 Q.
Yeah.
He's top 5.
I'm more of a believer in him. One, because I recall at the biggest moments in both of those Super Bowls, the guy's been awesome.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's not his fault that he's got the infrastructure around
he is.
him.
His lower body, I mean, Jalen Hurts is a total beast. Who squatted the most? Who lifted the most of your teammates in your NFL career?
Fred Jackson.
Oh, really?
Fred Jackson?
Div 3 pride.
The Incredible Hulk. The dude, he's a bully in the locker room. And I mean,
you looked at the camera for a second there, elaborate.
What type of numbers are we talking about with Fred Jackson?
I don't know numbers, but we always take those pictures, and he's always up there with the linemen. But it just comes from his dedication because Freddie was a small guy, and going to college, he was small. And I get, he took it personal, and yeah, that dude, he's strong. He was strong. It was between him and Maurice Jones-Drew.
Oh yeah, well, MJD was like 5'7", 225, chiseled.
Elaborate on this Fred Jackson being the bully of the locker room. I want to hear more on that.
He just once he walked by people, you either go look back into your locker, or because he played too much. You want to wrestle, he want to show you how strong he is. So if you lock eyes with him, oh, he got you. Come on, we about to go wrestle. We about to show some type of strength of who's stronger. And I was Fred, man. I made sure that I was always on his side.
So what's like the biggest feat of strength you've seen Fred Jackson do then in the locker room?
So the fullbacks are supposed to block for the running backs. He was handling the fullback in a wrestle off. So
no way.
That's Freddie. I guess he was a smaller version of a Derrick Henry in a sense. You know what I mean? Because how his strength was,
Fan favorite too. Like, how could you not root for a dude like Fred Jackson coming from Div 3? Like, the number of in that era, there was more Fred Jackson jerseys. Actually, a lot of Paul Plesnesny's out there too. But like, Fred Jackson was always like that dude, right? Respected by the fans.
Yeah, for sure. And I say bully, I'm joking around. He's more of the bodyguard of the locker room.
Did you ever find yourself on the other end of a wrestling match with Freddie though?
No. I'm a receiver. I see things.
Yeah,
I see things before.
Great vision downfield. Steer clear of Fred Jackson.
I know he walking by, just like Debo coming through.
All right, so let's transition then to that last Monday nighter then, and this is a great one. Raiders Chargers. I can't wait. I think I got Chargers futures on winning the West. I think the 3 is now moved to 3.5, or if you wanted at 3, you're getting adjusted juice. I love that. That's my best bet is the Chargers -3 tonight. I really like the Raiders. I like both these teams. I just think if you're the Chargers and if you are the team that I think you are, which is probably like a 12-win team who can win the West, you go out and handle biz and you cover that 3 tonight.
The Raiders were really impressive in week 1. Geno was slinging it. I believe, 9 20-yard gains for the Raiders on offense. And that's without Ashton Genty really doing what a lot of people expected he would do. And you're talking about Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers amongst other with the Raiders, but I'm with you. And I was looking at the number, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of a fishy line.
Is it a trap?
And I'm like, okay, what am I missing here? Because I think on paper, and say what you will about Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly and all the new additions to the Raiders beyond Geno Smith and Ashton Genty, I do feel like the Chargers are just a cut above the Raiders, and I'm with you. I think there's some value there.
Yeah, same. If you are who you think you are, you go out and you handle this business as a LA Charger. I definitely feel like it's going to be a 27-17 game.
All right, correct score bet on FanDuel.
Let's do it.
All right, lock it in.
I think the defense of the Chargers too. Not enough people were talking about how good they were that Friday night in Brazil. That defense looked really good, and that's what you're going to get with Harbaugh. You're going to have a tough team that's going to play good D and run the ball. Now, for best bets, I know Stevie, you were talking the Jacoby Myers 59.5. That's the way you're leaning.
Yeah, I like Jacoby Myers. I think he's going to be a breakout receiver in his next few games, and he'll be a 1,000-yard receiver. And I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers over 60.
So you like Jacoby Myers? I like Omari and Hampton, the running back at a UNC. A ton of usage in week number 1. I'm playing him over 55.5 rushing yards. And we talked about it, right? Like, we like the Chargers in this game. I think they're going to be playing with a lead. Najee Harris, he's not toting the rock when you use a first-round pick on Omari and Hampton. I think he has a really nice performance in week 2, much more so than in week 1.
And I think all of these kind of play off of each other. Because I think when the Chargers are up, Jacoby Myers is going to be that dude who maybe some garbage time, extra yards, which could help hit that over. But FanDuel has Your Way. Your Way is, honestly, I've loved it. Through 2 weeks, it's a great new way to bet because now I got no one to blame. I can't blame a faulty line because I'm setting the line myself.
Exactly.
So we're doing our Your Way parlay, and Stevie, me and you are playing off each other because I'm going Herbert over 1.5 touchdown passes. And who is one of those touchdowns going to go to?
Keenan Allen.
Your guy.
Slayer. Yep. If I'm going to have it my way, then I'm going to pick Keenan Allen to get an anytime touchdown.
Your way or the highway, Stevie. I love it.
Close it out. What do you got?
It's an easy one for me. I've talked about this guy in the preseason. I loved what he did in week number 1. I think he's going to have a big week number 2. Emeka Egbuka with Tampa, 75+ yards receiving. And that's going to be potentially a shootout game. I think there could be a lot of scoring, a lot of throwing. And Emeka Egbuka will be on the receiving end from Baker Mayfield.
You've done this a couple times now with the Your Way. Why are you picking round numbers? Your Way, it's like...
It's true, 77. You know what? Put me down for 77. I'll take a little extra.
Just a little extra.
Little extra from FanDuel. I'll collect that cash because my boy Emeka's going off tonight.
There you go. And if you agree, go to FanDuel now. Go to Your Way. Make that bet. But Stevie, always great to have you in studio. Look forward to seeing you on the field introing the team next week. Play us out.
Hey, remember, it doesn't cost to be kind, and it doesn't hurt to smile. This is another broadcast selection of The Broken Table. Make sure y'all leave y'all comments.